Hello, welcome to this recording for our friends in real estate. This is Dave Betz and Margaret Jonas from Gineris and Associates. We are a tax and accounting firm who, among the clients that we specialize in serving, are realtors, real estate brokers, real estate agents. And we have prepared this presentation for you as it relates to top tax saving tips for realtors, for real estate agents. So we're going to share those tips for you. And if you have more questions, we invite you to get in touch with us. There are additional tips and strategies that we have and use for brokerages and some different recommendations for them as well. And we serve many of them and we love serving them. So we hope you find some value in this. And with that, let's go ahead and get started on this presentation. Let me share my screen and we'll get started. All right. Okay, so 20 top tax saving realtor tips. Margaret is going to chime in as we're working through this, but I'll start off here with mileage. Mileage went up to 58 cents a mile in 2019. It's up from 54.5 cents a mile in 2018. This is definitely something that you should track because you drive a lot going to show clients homes and whatnot. We definitely recommend using a mileage app like Mile IQ, which actually does the work for you. And the cost of the app is also deductible. And I know Margaret has a good story about this.
I do. We have a client that comes in every year and he'll say, hey, give me a few extra miles from last year. We had him start using Mile IQ last year and he could not believe how many miles he actually was missing out on. So the app does justice. It saves you tax dollars. Very highly recommended from our firm.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a swipe left, swipe right if it's business or personal, and you'll get the maximum deduction. Next on our list is a business vehicle. You do drive a lot, so you are certainly entitled, if you buy or lease a car, to deduct that. And for the greatest depreciation and deduction, vehicles greater than 6,000 pounds, you can deduct fully and you'll get more of a deduction. Now, one caveat to talk about is that you will deduct either the mileage, the cents per mile, or actual expenses of your vehicle purchase or lease and maintenance and so forth. Margaret, anything to add on that?
Just a little. In most cases, a realtor, they're going to have a better deduction on mileage, but we often suggest doing both throughout the year, keeping track of your mileage and your actual expenses. And then at year end, we can decide which one is more beneficial for you.
Awesome. Okay. Number 3 on our list is home office expenses. You work from home in many cases, and so the renovations and decorations and the furnishing of the space that is exclusively and solely dedicated to you working from your home is deductible, as well as phone and internet expenses that facilitate you doing your job. Now, mind you, it is a pro rata share, so I'll let Margaret talk more specifically about what that means.
Sure. Real quick on the home office expense, it is $5 a square foot. If you have a home office in your home, you're able to take that square footage and multiply it times 5. That gives you a deduction on the Schedule C. Phone and internet, you're basically just taking your portion. So if it's 50% business, 50% personal, you're taking the 50% on the business side of it.
Awesome. Okay, number 4 on our list is real estate and business apps and software. We're big believers in the use of technology to facilitate what you're trying to do. There's a lot of different apps and programs that qualify. Some of the apps that we recommend highly and love are Xero. It's the accounting software platform. It's cloud-based. It's beautiful. Loft 47 was built for real estate brokerages and realtors. We love it and we're skilled at it. Receipt Bank, take a picture of receipt, quit saving the paper, it flows automatically into Xero, categorize your expenses, you can get the deduction, and Mile IQ we talked about. Margaret, anything you want to add about these or other software and applications?
Just that they make things much easier on you. Being able to keep things paperless is a great feature for any business, and using these softwares will allow you to do that.
Mm-hmm. It also is worth saying that if you want help setting it up, we do this for a living. So you don't have to figure out how to do that. Just, reach out to us. And Margaret would be happy to assist you or connect you with Dina or someone else at our firm who can assist you. We do this every day, all the time. Don't make life difficult. Get help to help you. Okay. Technology, we talked about some of the software and apps, but certainly purchasing and upgrading things like computers, laptops, cell phones, and tablets that are business expenses are deductible. Margaret, anything more specific to add about this?
Pretty straightforward. Deductions are great, and these are something that are more on the higher end of a deduction. So definitely want to make sure if you're using, a personal computer at home, that we're taking that and putting it on the tax return as well.
Okay. Marketing and advertising, you all work hard to get your name out there, build your personal brand, get your reputation out there. So whether that is physical marketing and advertising like print, signs, billboards, ads that you place, or digital things like social media, search engine ads, those are deductible expenses. Conferences and conventions, when you're attending something to learn and further your professional development, the registration fees associated with that, as well as your travel expenses and the meals that you have while you're out at the conference and convention are deductible. But Margaret, not 100% deductible on the meals, right?
Correct. Meals are only 50% when you're doing anything, conference, conventions, things of that nature. Traveling, you're able to take the deduction on the travel, the mileage.
And if they fly and take taxis?
Yes. You're traveling beyond means of a vehicle, you can take those deductions as well.
Okay, excellent. Here we get into additional things related to transportation. So if you're a city-based agent, but whenever you're traveling, if you're using taxis or rideshare apps and all of those kinds of things, also deductible.
Which is really great when you're traveling and you have the app that you can take a picture of the receipt at that time. It's in your system. It's done. You don't have to worry about coming back home, getting all your receipts put together. You have them at the time that you are, using them. You get a receipt from the taxi, the Uber, the Lyft. It's on your phone. Snap the picture. It's done. You don't have to think about it afterwards.
That's true. And I know that when I've had receipts from Uber, because they'll email them to you right away, and then you can forward that email to the email address associated with your receipt bank account is another way to get it in there without even having to snap the picture. You have your own dedicated personal email account for that as well, that it flows right in. Okay, client business meals. So we talked a little bit about meals and the fact that they are 50% deductible. So the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, they do continue to be 50% deductible. One thing that they made no longer deductible is around client entertainment. Margaret, what would you like to say about that?
Yeah, the entertainment, if you're taking a client to a ball game, taking them to any type of entertainment, that is no longer deductible. They are still allowing you to take a client out to dinner, and that is 50% deductible, but no entertainment for 2018 on.
Now, if they're out at a ball game, though, and someone buys a bunch of burgers and dogs or something at a restaurant or something like that, that meal expense is deductible at that entertainment thing at 50%.
It is. It's considered taking them to dinner, but not the entertainment part.
Okay, very good. All right, number 10, client gifts. So it is certainly something that you could do as a realtor to say, hey, welcome to your new home, up to $25, tax deductible. You certainly want to keep good records and name that client on the receipt so it is traceable back to that person. Okay, desk fees. Y'all pay for the right to work for the real estate brokers that you're working for, and so those fees are 100% deductible. And if you are also charged additional associated expenses like copier charges, those are also 100% deductible. Moving on to continuing education expenses, you should further your professional development, and when you do, when it is business related, that is deductible, as are travel and meal expenses incurred during continuing education, all tax deductible. Margaret, anything to add or differentiate here?
Just to stress that it definitely needs to be business related. It's not taking a course on something, that is different than what you are in business for. It's actually business related continuing education, and that's when you can take the deduction for it.
So my Arthur Murray dance lessons are not appropriate.
Correct.
All right. Well, I'm just saying, good realtors should be good dancers. I'm just saying. Okay. Insurance expenses are deductible, errors and omission insurance, and if you are using the vehicle where you're taking actual expenses, then your vehicle insurance would also be deductible. Okay, annual membership dues. If you're a member of any realtor associations or professional organizations for networking like Rotary or the Chamber of Commerce or something like that, those annual membership dues are also something that you can deduct. Margaret, anything specific to share or add here?
Just sometimes those are the little things that are forgotten, the membership dues, and those definitely can be picked up. You're using that to put your name out there, and that's a deduction for you.
Okay, home stretch. We're on number 15 out of the 20. Interest on business loans and credit cards. Hopefully you are doing a good job of not commingling personal credit cards and business credit cards. If you are commingling, please stop. Get a separate credit card. Now, it can be in your name personally. It doesn't need to be in a business name. But if you use one card exclusively for business expenses and then your other card for personal expenses, that is a beautiful way to do record keeping. It's going to make your life simpler come tax time. And any interest, if you don't pay those balances off in full on those business credit cards related to business expenses and or loans that you have, those are tax deductible. Okay. Staging costs. Boy, when you make a home beautiful to really impress somebody, when you buy or rent or lease any furnishings, or you hire young people to get in a truck and pick that stuff up and put it in, or maybe they're not young people, whoever they are, all of those costs associated with staging, those are deductible costs.
And something on that real quick, Dave, anyone that you're paying labor, anything over $600, they do need to be issued a 1099. So if you are hiring somebody for that labor, make sure they fill out a form before that so that you have the appropriate information to do their 1099 at the end of the year. And you'll need their social security number, their address, full name, and they definitely need to know that up front, that you will be issuing them a 1099. People don't like to be hit with that when it comes to tax time, and they're like, oh, I didn't even realize I was gonna, have to report that income. So it is important to know that. Over $600, you will have to issue a 1099.
That's a great point. And for some of you do-it-yourselfers, you can just, search out their IRS form W-9.
Yes.
And you can do that. If you want help with that, we use a beautiful application. It sends an email to someone, fills out their information. It flows into any accounting software if you're using Xero. It tracks those expenses to the right category on your behalf. It's doing these kind of deductions and work in real time. We just love saving people time. You're busy doing things like trying to sell homes and grow your client base and all the rest. And if you want to leave all the paper and administrative to the professionals, we're happy to help with that. Okay. Wages paid to employees. So Margaret just gave the example of 1099s. Now here is a great tax tip. You should consider hiring your children under the age of 18 years of age. If you do that, up to $12,000, which is the standard deduction, is federal tax-free. So there is no federal withholding you'll pay, no Social Security or Medicare or unemployment at the state or federal level. And so that's sort of like free money. And you could use that money that you're paying that child under the age of 18, and you could even invest that into a Roth IRA on behalf of that young person, which will get you additional tax advantages and saving and help accumulate wealth for that young person to maybe be used for college expenses or other future kinds of things. Margaret, talk a little bit more about this.
And that's important to know, is that they do have to receive a W-2 in order to make a Roth IRA contribution. It cannot be a 1099. So that's where, the tax savings, continues to flow down. You're able to do it without having any taxes taken out. The company isn't paying any of the employment taxes that you normally pay. And your child is able to put some money away for retirement at a young age. And starting at a young age just makes it better in the long run, teaches them that putting money away is a way to save and accumulating that wealth. So that is important. And not only children, you can hire other employees as sole proprietorship. You just have to, file the correct paperwork and do it as a payroll check. If you're not issuing 1099s, they're not employees. That's what needs to be done. So just a little bit of both sides. 1099s is not the same as an employee. And an employee actually works for you. You're telling them what needs to be done. And they're issued W-2s at the end of the year.
And again, we can help with that. You don't need to figure out how to issue W-2s. Reach out to us. We can set the person up. We can set up the payroll. We can manage that for you and help you with that. Just because you're a successful business sole practitioner doesn't mean you need to do every part of your business. Now, you can spend the time to learn that, but we found that a lot of people just sort of want to hand off some of those kinds of things to the professionals who are doing it day in and day out.
Giving them more time to do what they're good at. That's the important part.
Right. Very good. Okay, and Margaret's absolutely right. The compounding interest across time, the growth of wealth when you start at a young age, holy cow, it makes such a difference, the end game when you start really young. So it's a great idea. Okay, legal and professional fees. So if you engage a lawyer in any way for your professional business related matters, and certainly accountants, yes, our fees are deductible for tax preparation and any bookkeeping, any of the payroll or 1099s that you engage an accountant for, those are deductible fees. So use a professional and deduct those fees. Retirement savings, we talked about it on behalf of young people, but you yourself should consider contributing to tax advantage retirement plans like a traditional IRA, a Roth IRA, or a solo 401k for you sole proprietors and individual practitioners. If you're a brokerage, you can set up additional sort of business-based, company-wide sort of benefits plans that give you tax advantages. We have a financial advisor at our office, Tim Shaw. Here's his email address and phone number. You're welcome to reach out to him. He does both business financial planning as well as personal financial planning. And he works with our tax specialists, including Margaret, to help make sure that we're working in synergy to really optimize both the wealth strategies as well as the tax implication strategies. And it's a smart way to do that. It's where you have the left hand and the right hand talking to one another. Margaret, anything more to add on retirement savings?
No, and everybody's retirement fits differently, so that's something that we really want to talk with the financial advisor about. Not everybody fits, in the same basket. So it's important to have that person along with your accountant to make the best strategy for you.
Awesome. And then our last and final tip is really related to miscellaneous expenses. It's any ordinary and reasonable business expense can be tax deductible. That is a hole with no bottom, so we can't get into what is an ordinary and necessary business expense. But just know that anything that you supply that is a receipt needs to be defensible. Your tax accountant and whoever should say, what is this? And if it's justifiable and it's a business expense, a firm like ours will generally want to make sure it's defensible and will take your side and make sure that we get you every deduction that we can. In other words, we're not conservative. We're not working on the side of the IRS. We're working on your behalf, and we want to get you every deduction, but it needs to be defensible.
Correct. That is important.
Okay. All right, so then with that, here's what we would invite you to do. If you have more questions, if you have a personal situation that you want to talk about, if you want help, if you need someone to do your taxes, if you want a tax and accounting professional to help you with either your bookkeeping or your tax time kind of situation, please reach out to Margaret. Here's her email address. Here's her phone number. What we would tell you is for Schedule C Realtor 1040s, our fees start at $750 for that, presuming that you don't have a bunch of other active involvement in K1s in other companies and you don't own a farm and you don't have other rental properties and whatnot. If you're a sole proprietor and realtor and you have a Schedule C from doing that kind of work, your 1040 would be about $750. What we will do, for those of you who are watching this, is also include a mid-year tax review. If you request it and say, hey, Margaret, I want to see where I'm doing in the middle of the year here, we'll do that at no additional charge. Normally that would be $250, but we'll take a look at where you are, and if there is a need to revise any estimates, if you were paying estimated taxes, that would also be included in this no additional charge mid-year tax review. And then likewise, dependent children, if you have young children who are already working, who have a W-2 or they're in school or something like that, we will also include and do and file their tax return at no additional charge. So your $750 includes a mid-year review and any dependent children that you have as well. So we think that's a pretty good deal for sole proprietor business owners. Now, how do you get started? Well, here's how you get started. On our website, Gineris Ltd. Get Started, you would scroll and click on the personal income tax form if you are a realtor broker. or excuse me, a realtor agent. And so I'll show you that in just a second live, but it's this personal income tax form. Also, we certainly invite you to follow us on social media. If you are a broker, you would want to click on the new business form. What you're looking at is our website, Gineris & Associates, generisltd.com. And we're on the Get Started page, and there's a nice little 1-minute video that talks a little bit about our firm. We are a third-generation, family-owned, family-run business in Indiana, the great Midwest. Hardworking, values, and work ethic. We value flexibility. We love innovation. We love helping individuals and businesses succeed. So we're highly recommended. We have a terrific reputation. We love helping realtors. Here, if you're a business, an existing business here, you're starting up a new business, it's here. If you're a realtor, sole proprietor, come down here and do personal income tax. If you happen to own an estate or trust, it's that. With that, that is really what we had that we wanted to share with you. Margaret, anything else that you want to add, ask, or invite from our guests here today?
No, we look forward to any questions that you may have. Reach out and we'll help you as much as we can.
We look forward to being of service to you. Thank you.